Greetings, demons, and welcome to another episode of Warhammer Weekly, where I discuss all of the newest releases and updates from the world of Warhammer from Games Workshop themselves via the Warhammer community page. And, yeah, quite a lot has happened this week, so let's just get into it and discuss.
Not the leader of a cult, RabbitWithAxe.
Okay, so starting off with something that I think a lot of people have kind of ignored over the last week, and that is the announcement and full release of the Stormbringer magazine. Now, if you're not familiar, there are a bunch of subscription magazines sort of thing that Warhammer has done over the years. The one that I really like is Imperium, which is a 40k magazine. We now have a brand new Age of Sigmar one. We have had one before. This one is going to be 80 issues long, or at least 80 issues have been said to be happening. And you can get it as individual issue subscription or a premium subscription, which I'll get into in just a moment. Essentially, this is kind of like those magazines you can get to build model cars or stuff like that. There's a lot of them out there. There's ones that do chess sets and stuff. It's a very common thing that you see in places like WH Smith's a lot of the time. And this is a way to build an Age of Sigmar army, or in this case, actually two Age of Sigmar armies, an army of destruction and an army of order. And I really love this to the fact that I've actually subscribed. I wasn't subscribed to Imperium. I pick up Imperium whenever I find it, but I don't actually subscribe to it. I have subscribed to Stormbringer, and the major reason is I am not an AOS player, but I want to get into AOS. I like 40k a lot. 40k is always going to be my main thing, but I also really like things like Squigs, and the fact that it's just a destruction army means that it's Auric War Tribes and Gloomspite Gits and I can't remember the other ones, but the various orc groups, and I really like those aesthetically. They are some of my favourite models in general in Warhammer, just the AOS orc types. They're very cool. I really do like them, and that's half of this subscription. So the long and short of it is each issue comes with either models, paints, or other equipment, official stuff from Citadel or from Games Workshop themselves, and it's pretty affordable, especially when we get into the premium subscription, which is what I actually went for. It ends up being really good value in long term, especially if it's models that you were actually wanting. So starting off, just to get into why this is worth it, at least to me, you actually get an exclusive Praetor Prime for your Stormcast, which is kind of crazy to have an exclusive model, and I think that's issue 5. It's really nice, actually. It's really cool. And it's always great to be getting exclusive models and stuff like this. We have actually seen exclusive models. I think there was an exclusive Space Marine Captain in Imperium, I think. It goes for a lot of money on eBay right now because it's obviously an exclusive model. A lot of people want to have full collections of whatever faction they follow. And Stormcast, they're not necessarily the most popular faction in the world, but a lot of people do like them. I quite like the aesthetic of them. I hopefully will have a nice army of them by the end of this. But yeah, issue 1, just $2.99, and you get 6 dice, a Knight Arcanum, a Killer Boss, and a Stab Grot, which is really nice. You also get a playing mat and stuff. It's basically a starter kit just with very few models. And as I said before, there is a premium subscription, but you actually don't have to get the premium subscription to get a bunch of bonuses. This sounds like an advertisement, I do realise, but I'm really excited for this. This is something that I'm really interested in. But if you just subscribe in general, you actually get a Citadel modelling kit, which comes with the cutters, the line remover, and the plastic glue. You get a binder and dividers for your actual magazine copies, a heat-changing mug, which is apparently exclusive, which is cool, I guess. You get a paintbrush set as well, official Citadel brushes, which is really nice. And you also get another exclusive model, the Gut Ripper Boss, which is really nice. It has I keep thinking it has a squig. It doesn't have a squig. It has the red face shield thing, and it has a little bird friend, which is very, very cool. But yeah, as for the actual premium subscription, it's £2 extra, or €2.50 extra, but you do end up getting Krondis, Son of Dracophion. I hope I've said that right. Gordak, Fist of Gork, a Grundstock Gun Hauler, and a Dankhold Troggoth, as well as 3 Rockgut Troggoths. And collectively, those models, if you were to get them from Games Workshop, that is, would cost about £350, I believe. And you're basically paying just to get those, you just have to be subscribed until issue 69. So you're paying, what, 100 and... Let's just call it 140 for the sake of argument. Something in that range for £250 worth of, or what have I just said, worth of models, which is kind of ridiculous, and that's why I've gone for it. Grundis, son of Dracothian, is a really cool model, same with Gordak, Fist of Gork. They are two models that I look at all the time when I'm in Games Workshop stores, and getting those for somewhat cheap, really, really cool. But yeah, Stormbringer is out now. You can subscribe for a limited time. I think you have until issue 5 comes out, which is in about a month, or issue 6, something like that. You have a limited time to be able to actually subscribe, and the premium subscription is the same way. You can only do premium subscriptions till a certain point. But yeah, if you're interested, links, as always, to the article are in the description below, and yeah, moving on. And that brings us into Heresy Thursday, which I feel like I always put this way too early in a video, but honestly, Heresy Thursday the last few times has been so good. Last week it was amazing, and this week it is no exception. We have the brand new Inhuman Assassin, which is called the Infernus Abomination. This, of course, 30k, obviously, Heresy, and it's a Chaos Assassin, essentially. It looks absolutely phenomenal. It's like a demon, but it's not quite a demon. It's so interesting to me. It's so cool. It's a shapeshifter, which is something we have, I believe, seen before with regular assassins, especially in 40k. And it just looks so good. It's like corrupted. It's got like claws. It's got a big like hand cannon, like a literal hand that is a cannon. It has all the like cabling and electronic bits, and it kind of looks hard mech, but it also kind of doesn't. It's like kind of dark mech. It's kind of just generic, Chaos Astartes or Praetor Astartes, whatever you want to call them. It's so very good. I really do like this model. I am very excited just to paint this. I don't play Heresy at all. I have no plans to play Heresy. If there are rules for this thing in Chaos Armies in 40k, I will run it because it looks so good. I'm imagining this in like a more Zechian colour scheme, a bit more blue, maybe a little bit of pink, and oh my, it looks so good. I'm so excited for this model. I don't believe it's Finecast, so it might actually be. I'm not actually sure. I know it has options. We haven't actually seen any of them yet. It does have options for customization, which is always nice to see. Does it actually say in the article? I'm trying to find it now. If it says in the article whether it's a Forge World model, I don't actually know. A lot of Heresy is, so I don't know. But in any case, it looks so good. I'm so excited for this model. And yeah, that's really all I can say. I'm very excited for this. Moving on to another new model. And first off, I just want to point out the Caradon Overlords have got a new Battletome. I don't really follow the books that much. The Battletomes and the, what they're called, Codexes. I don't really follow when they get updated and stuff, when they get new releases. But yeah, we have got a new one for the Caradon Overlords, and alongside that, we have an absolutely beautiful model, the Caradon Overlords Codewrite. And this guy is just covered in books. He's just books. He's amazing. And yeah, he looks like us, He looks like he looks like the Warhammer players that we all are, with our million different books that we need to carry around. Or you can just, have the PDFs on your phone, which is what I do. But yeah, honestly, this is one of my favourite models we've seen in a long time. It's a faction, Caradon Overlords, that I am interested in. I like the Dwarves, the Steampunk Dwarves from AOS. It's not a faction I want to build, necessarily, in terms of, like, a full army, but individual models are very cool. I've been very tempted to use some Caradon Overlords for my 40k Votan army, just because they kind of fit the aesthetic, weirdly enough. But yeah, I really love this Codewrite. He has his books, he has his all scarred up face, his beard. I do have to wonder, though, how he gets the books off the shelf on his back. It seems a little bit high. I don't know if maybe the robot arms that are holding the books for him at the moment, like, can grab them or something. I don't actually know, but yeah, it's such a good model. It has the little dwarven face speaker things where he can, like, yell out his different laws and whatever else and codes and all that kind of thing. It looks so good. I'm in love with this model. It makes me so much more interested in Caradon Overlords than I was before, and as I say, I was interested in them aesthetically. I'm very excited for this model. It's gonna be so good. I do really like this model. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just really cool. The Black Library celebration for 2023 is also kicked off with Captain Messinius as the limited model. It is limited time. It's a what's the terminology? It's the commemorative series, I guess. Model for this Black Library celebration. There is actually an extra free book for the Black Library celebration that you actually do get with, I believe, any orders during the Black Library celebration. I may be wrong about that. I believe it's also available in stores for free without purchase. I may be wrong, though, again there. I haven't seen the full information on this. There hasn't actually been any full release. But I did actually get Captain Messinius. Really good model. I do love that power glove. And yeah, with that I did get the free book, so I assume it is just with any purchase on the website. But it is so very good. It's a short on 4G storybook paperback, and the model itself is just excellent. I say I love his power glove. He has his little Terra sigil thing on it. The entire design of him is just so good. It's not a character I'm familiar with. I haven't read Avenging Sun, but it looks so very good. I'm very excited to see what I can do with this guy, because he's going to be made into some form of probably going to be Raven Guard. I'm debating whether to change my army to be something different other than Raven Guard at this point, because they don't run very well. I've done a few games now with Raven Guard, and they are so weak in the current build of the game. But yeah. Good old Captain Messinius. He is a White Consul's Ultramarine Successor chapter captain, which a lot of people are going to be like, who, what, where? But yeah, it's something that a lot of people have been asking for that are fans of the books, especially, Avenging Sun. And yeah, I'm very excited to get this model. The entire Black Library celebration is always great every year, and this time is no exception. I'm very excited to get this model, paint it up in black, because of course I will. And yeah, I'm genuinely just very, very happy that I've been able to get this model, because a lot of people haven't, unfortunately. But yeah, hopefully more of them get made available as made to order or something like that, because I still don't have a notification saying that mine's leaving yet. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be waiting on this model, but hopefully it's not as long as I've waited for some of the other models that I've ordered over time, because I waited like 6 months for which model was it? It was the it was the Black Templar Stubbing an Orc. I can't remember what that model was called, but yeah, it was that one. I waited like 6 months for it. But yeah, that is the Black Library 2023, which is very, very cool. And then just quickly jumping back into Heresy Thursday, just because I don't think these are that important, but I just think they need to be mentioned. There are going to be 2 character head upgrade sets, which are just bear heads for your characters in Heresy, or I guess you could use them in 40k, but they're mainly for Heresy. You've got a variety of different heads. They are very different. Some have facial hair, some have various augments, some are just very plain, some have scarring. It's quite varied. I quite like it. I don't like bear heads in general. I have a few of them because, I play Raven Guard, so I have a lot of the emo hairdos, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sold on any of these. There's some of them that remind me of like RoboCop and Terminator and stuff like that, and I think that's kind of fun. But yeah, it's not for me, but I'm sure plenty of people are going to find some enjoyment out of this. It's not as good as the helmet alternates. The different helmet designs, it's not as good as those, but I'm sure a lot of people that like painting bear heads are going to really enjoy these. So yeah, worth mentioning, but just nothing that special. And that leaves us with 2 very similar things, one for 40k and one for AOS. So we do actually have 4 more boarding patrols, yet more of them. We had 3 last week, we had 2 like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, we actually have Admech, Chaos Demons, Gene Stealer Cult, and Death Guard. So what I said last week about Gene Stealer Cult not really needing one, they do, I guess, because both Tyranids and Gene Stealers have a boarding patrol, even though most of the models in both are Gene Stealer type models, but it is what it is. It makes sense to have a Gene Stealer Cult one, because their models are very different. But like when the Broodlord and Gene Stealers are included in the Tyranid box, it's like, I don't know, you could probably fudge it into being a Gene Stealer Cult if you really wanted to. But yeah, in terms of what models are included, the Adeptus Mechanicus comes with 10 Scutari, as well as 5 Sicarians, which can be built as Ruststalkers or Infiltrators, and a Tech Priest Dominus, as well as, what are they actually called? Are they called Destroyers? No. 3 Cataphrons, which can be built as Destroyers or Breachers. Yeah, okay. I'm having to read that because I'm like, what could they be built as? But yeah, the Cataphrons, which are in like every box at this point, but they're expensive models. The actual AdMech box this time around, really good value. All AdMech boxes are really good value because AdMech is so expensive. But yeah, it's an alright box. AdMech is not something I'm interested in at all. Dark AdMech or Dark Mech, whatever you want to call them, very much more interested in, but we're not getting that anytime soon, so maybe one day. But yeah, the AdMech box is alright, I guess. The Chaos Demons box, a little bit more interesting, though it's basically Chaos Demons Khorne. It comes with 10 Bloodletters, 10 Fleshhounds, and Karanak, the Hound of Vengeance, which is a very interesting model. I'd never seen that one before, but yeah, you get your Chaos Dogs, you get your Bloodletters. It's a Khorne box. I'm going to keep calling it a Khorne box, even though technically it's undivided. I don't get why it's pushing like Chaos Demons as just being one faction at a time. I know Khorne has a load of new stuff, but like, I don't know. For me, if they're going to do undivided, they should have a mix of various models rather than it just being, here's Khorne and some dogs. I don't know. It just seems weird to me. But yeah, Chaos Demons, it's alright. It's not the worst box out there. It could definitely be a lot worse, honestly. The Gene Stealers is a little bit more interesting, though I don't know. It has 17 models total, 10 Acolytes. You've also got, what is it? Which one is it, actually? It doesn't actually list it properly in the article. 5 Aberrants. And then what's the other thing? There's Abominant? Yeah, it's an Abominant with a Mind Worm. Yeah, okay. That's what it is. That was messing me up. There's 10 Acolytes, there's 5 Aberrants, an Abominant. What's the other model? There's... Oh, a Kellamorph. There we go. I was like, that was only 16 models. Yeah, there's a Kellamorph as well. It's a good box if you're not starting a Gene Stealers yet. You know, if you're wanting to get into Gene Stealers. The Gene Stealers are pretty well known for having a pretty good start collecting box. So, end of the day, you're not really missing out too much by not getting Boarding Patrol Gene Stealers, but I don't know. Gene Stealer Cult is an odd one. I like the aesthetic for some models and hate the aesthetic for others. I like the mining thing that they have going on. That's kind of interesting, but yeah, for me, Gene Stealer Cult is not a winner. Speaking of a winner, though, the Death Guard box is it's weird. It's very, very weird. So you actually get 3 Death Shroud Terminators, a Lord of Virulence, and 10 Plague Marines. Which you heard right. 10 Plague Marines. As I'm sure some of you will know, Plague Marines come in sets of 7. The box contains 7 Plague Marines. So they've included 3 models from the Reinforcements set. And the reason why I'm making a point of this is that 7 Plague Marines, standard Plague Marines, cost you $45. I do believe. 3 Reinforcements cost you $35. Meaning, most of the value of this box is 3 Marines that should just be included with the regular box. Like, the Death Guard box is really good. Here, the Boarding Patrol is really good for Death Guard. It's just the fact that they are saying there's technically 4 different like kits in this box when there's actually 3 different units, and it's so stupid to me. I love Death Guard. I'm never gonna get into them because I think their aesthetic is kind of I do like some of it, but a lot of the time I'm just like, whatever. I'd rather run something that's a little bit cleaner for Chaos, weirdly enough. But yeah, the Death Guard box is so good. If you're someone who hasn't got anything Death Guard but wants Death Guard, this is actually really good because you're actually getting a full team of Plague Marines, which is something you'll never do normally. But the fact that that's even an issue for Plague Marines is crazy to me in the first place. But yeah, whatever. And then, as I said, we also have a very similar thing, not the same thing, but a similar thing for Age of Sigmar, and that's the Regiments of Renown. You actually have 6 of these for Sylvaneth, Auric Warclans, Soulblight Gravelords, Slaves to Darkness, Cities of Sigmar, and Disciples of Tzeentch. And I'm not going to go into as much detail with these ones just because the article doesn't actually list out the models specifically for any of them other than the Cities of Sigmar, because they have a new rule. But yeah, they all look pretty good to me. I quite like the Tzeentch one, though it's got nothing that I actually need, which is unfortunate. As a Tzeentch player, it's kind of annoying to see a Tzeentch box that I'm like, I get nothing out of this. But yeah, they're all very good. In terms of the Cities of Sigmar box, just to go over that because we don't actually have a list of what's included, a Rune Lord, 10 Iron Drakes, 10 Longbeards, and you do have an ability of Rune of Restored Hearth, which the Rune Lord can do, which, yeah, sounds interesting. I'm not a Cities of Sigmar Dwarves player. I'll say I'm only really interested in the Overlords, but, you know, if you're a Cities of Sigmar player, you know, if you're a fan of Order, which I might become a fan of Order with the whole Stormbringer subscription, but yeah, generally I'm not too fussed about Cities of Sigmar and Order in general, so yeah, it's kind of interesting. The different boxes are all very cool, in my opinion. I do quite like the Sylvaneth one, just aesthetically, but that's just because of the Sylvaneth. The Auric Warclans one is actually kind of interesting. It's not what I think of when I think of Auric Warclans. It's very range-based, which, like, I just think of Stabbers. I know that's very much a Gloomspite Gitz thing as well, but, like, I just think of them running at you with spears. Like, having giant crossbows and stuff is just not what I think of with Auric Warclans, but, you know, it's very cool. I might end up getting it just because it's an interesting box, but you can actually get all the models separately, and if you have the models available to you already, you know, if you just happen to have an army that has them, you can run the brand new setup of having a Regiments of Renown. It is in the rules now, like, there's official rules for it. So, yeah, if you're someone who plays one of those 6 factions, it's not a bad time to be playing those factions. Like, you're getting a new Regiment of Renown, you're getting new model kits, not actually new models, unfortunately, other than, actually, does it say if the Rune of, not the Rune Lord, yeah, the Rune Lord, is the Rune Lord a new model? I don't actually know, I don't think it is, but, yeah, it's an interesting set. As I say, I am kind of interested in having a better look at that, Big Grix Cruel Shots Auric Warclans box, but otherwise, like, even though I'm a Tzeentch player, I'm not really interested in the Tzeentch box. It's interesting enough. I'm sure plenty of people are going to get enjoyment out of that, but yeah, not necessarily for me. And finally, just to cover it, because we have to cover it every week, we have the Aruma engine, and this time it's an axe. It's an axe. It's very clearly 40k, you know, as a cable coming out of it. It has that general aesthetic. It really could be anything. It's an axe in 40k. I don't know where to go with that. It could be Chaos, it could be Imperium, it could be any number of factions. I'm leaning more towards it being a human faction or a Chaos faction just because it has that Imperium flavor. It could very easily be Votann. It could very easily be Admech. I don't know. It looks like a Space Marine axe to me, but that means nothing. So yeah, it's a rumor engine, alright. I have no clue on this one. Last time I had a decent idea. This time it could literally be anything. It could be Age of Sigmar for all I know. It just looks very 40k to me. It could be Heresy for all I know. But yeah, rumor engine. It's interesting. But in any case, today it's going to be it for this video. So thanks for watching. If you did like it, make sure to like it, subscribe if you're new here, and ring that bell so you never miss upload. Otherwise, comment below any thoughts or feelings on anything that I've covered today, and check the links in the description below to actually read the articles for yourself. Of course, that is going to be it until next week for the Warhammer content from me, but yeah, I hope to see you next time. Bye!
Look at the screen, you'll be fine. Culture's a disease, but we'll survive. I just wanna take